What is up, everybody? My name is Justin. This is Forever Self-Employed, and in today's video, we're going to be exposing parking lot striping franchises, kind of franchises in general. I don't want to generalize all franchises because there's probably some good ones out there. Like, obviously, if I was going to start a burger joint, I'd want to pick one like McDonald's or something. But when it comes to service industry franchises, it's not really necessary, and we're going to get into why that's the case in this video, as well as how a franchise try to take advantage of Chris and kind of talk through that story so that way you guys can kind of see the signs and hopefully don't get taken advantage of as well. I'm joined with Chris though. How's it going, Chris?
It's going all right. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, bro. I'm doing good. Before we get into this, I do want to let you guys know a couple things. You don't need a franchise. All you got to do is get the How to Stripe course. In the How to Stripe course, we go over everything that you need to know. Business setup, equipment, property protection, how to price jobs, new layouts. It's over 8 hours of training, and in it we cover everything you're going to need to know in order to start a parking lot striping business. We also have some in-person training. Chris is now offering in-person training. So if you're somebody who wants to come out, touch the machines, just see what it's like to do a day or two in the field doing the work, that's something that we can accommodate as well. That'll be the first link in the comment section and the description. So for any of your training needs, you guys can find that in the comment section description. And that's what kind of sparked this whole thing. Obviously Chris had a run-in with, a franchise, which we're going to talk about in this video. But the other thing is just the fact that they'll lie to you and say that you need a lot of things that you don't necessarily need. Wouldn't you say so, Chris?
Yeah, most definitely. A lot of times what they like to do is find people who have zero experience in the industry and then charge them crazy amounts of money to learn a skill that you can learn for a fraction of the price and still get great results.
Right. And then they own a piece of your business for forever, which, like I said, in some cases isn't a bad thing. Like I would never open a Chick-fil-A by myself and call it like Chick-fil-B or anything. You know what I mean? Like I want the brand name Chick-fil-A. I want all of their processes and everything that goes along with it. But with some of the service industry stuff, it's really not necessary. And we're going to get, into all those details in this video. So Chris, start us out with the story, right? So obviously, I'm gonna lead into it a little bit, but basically one of these large franchises said they wanted to hand you a national account, and they made it seem as though it was going to be a huge account for you, and they kind of pulled the rug out from under you. So tell us a little bit about what happened, Chris.
All right, what happened was in the beginning stages of my business, we were acquiring a lot of new customers, and it was very exciting. I was super excited to be getting calls from several fast food locations on a statewide basis. Well, towards the end of the striping season last season, I get a call from somebody that manages a national account, and there are a considerable amount of properties of this particular brand. I won't say the name specifically, but there are a lot of locations in our state, and they serviced this contract on a national scale on a reoccurring basis every year. Well, he was running into a problem because initially they had subcontracted out a paving company, a full-scale paving company that did paving, seal coating, striping, sign installation, so on and so forth. Well, I get a call from this guy, and he's telling me he's in a bind. He needs help. He's just got a couple restaurants left. He's telling me all the things that he's telling me all of the benefits of course, having access to this account, and really just making it sound like it was a great deal. And it really was a great opportunity. Well, he had a couple restaurants left, and I dropped everything because I was thinking to myself, this is going to be such a great opportunity. I dropped everything. I stopped all the projects that I had and immediately serviced these properties. They overnight shipped me a stencil kit. We went half and half, and he started talking about all the projects that I'm going to be able to do next year, how I'm going to get a list, so on and so forth. He made it sound like everything was going to be great. Well, after we service the properties, of course, our work is great. I'm always able to stand behind my work. Our work was amazing. We get done, and then they find out that I have a striping YouTube channel. Well, when they found out that I had a striping YouTube channel, this particular franchise approached me with an offer. They told me they were going to pay the franchise fee, pay the total investment cost that it would take to get me up and running. But all that I would have to do would be to utilize my YouTube channel to, these are their words, to document the journey. So in exchange for work on a national scale to service all the properties in my state, they wanted me to essentially fold my company, operate as a DBA, and become a franchisee partner for them, and then use my YouTube channel to document it. When I initially had heard that offer, I thought about it for a split second, gave it a couple days, called him back and told him, I respectfully decline. I really, really appreciate it. But, I started a business to not work for somebody else. I mean, I think that's why we all start a business, is that way we don't have to be an employee to somebody else. And I knew that joining a franchise model would make me more money, but at the end of the day, I would just be working for somebody else. I would be building somebody else's brand, building somebody else's dream. I respectfully declined the offer. And then this next year rolls around, and I had reached out and contacted him and asked him, hey, when am I going to get my list? Because we're getting a lot of jobs and I don't want to get handed a list, middle of the season and then be expected to handle 20 plus restaurants. Well, after some time passed on, I started hearing about how other people that have access to the same account got their list of properties, which if anybody is striping and they're getting into the striping industry, there is a high probability that I know them. I have direct access to them. I'm talking to them. And anyways, I called him again. That's when the franchise partner told me that they had decided to take the contract from me that was given and then give it to another franchisee that assumed, I guess, the area or whatever the case. Well, of course, I thought they were lying, but I couldn't prove it. And it really, I just thought, okay, no big deal. I mean, we got work coming in anyways. Not a problem. And even if they did, I understand, because that's their franchisee. They have an obligation, and I understand. It wasn't a big deal. Well, the other day we were striping on the northwest side of town. We were doing a pressure wash, sign installation, wheel stop installation, parking lot striping. I mean, we were doing the whole works for a salad and go. And as I was passing, going to check on the crew, it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. I was going to check on the crew. And when I pass one of these properties that a franchisee was supposed to be taking over, I seen a striping trailer in their parking lot. That's 1 o'clock in the morning. Our job site is a few miles, or not a few miles, but a few feet down the road. I'm passing by this restaurant, going to our job site to go check on the crew. Well, when I seen there was a striping trailer inside of this parking lot, I turned into the parking lot to go see who it was, because I wanted to see if it was a franchisee. And come to find out, it was a friend of mine that I know personally that does striping. So right when I pulled in the parking lot, I seen my friend there striping, and I didn't want to pull up on him and record it. And, I didn't want to do all that, because if he landed that account, I was happy for him. I wouldn't want to jeopardize that. But needless to say, this company gave me work, took it away from me because I wouldn't use my YouTube channel to promote their franchise. And since I wouldn't fold my company and essentially work for them, they took work away from me. And that's pretty much how it went.
Dang, that's pretty crazy. So anyway, we didn't have a vendetta against franchises before this, but we looked a little bit deeper into it, because Chris came to me and was like, hey, I've been approached to start a franchise. They're offering me a ton of work in exchange, and really they held Chris hostage. And I feel like they're going to do that to a lot of other contractors, hold you hostage in return for, guaranteed work. And at the end of the day, if you know how to market correctly and do the things that, we teach within the How to Stripe course, or Chris teaches within the marketing pack for the How to Stripe course, you don't need to rely on other people's marketing essentially to get business, and because ultimately that's how they get you, right? Even with the Angie's leads, they sucker you in, they give you some good leads, and then ultimately you become stuck right there. Wouldn't you say so, Chris? And then they kind of feed on that a little bit.
Yeah, you're right about that. Angie's List definitely doesn't have a good reputation, but the great thing about Angie's List is after you have maxed out the money that you've put in, at least you can cut ties with Angie's List. If you sign up for a franchise model and you operate a franchise, you are locked in to their terms and conditions. And there is so much more that could be said about that. I know we're going to cover that later on live in the video. There's franchising fees, there's marketing fees, there's national account fees. I mean, there's all these fees that are associated with operating your business. And one of the great things about How to Stripe is that we give you the keys to success, and we don't own your business. You get to operate as a independent company, and you still get the training, you still get the value, you still get the help, you still get the community, right? But you don't have to pay us 25% of your gross revenue.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, sweet. So we kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the situation, because obviously it's terrible that they gave you this huge national account. I mean, it wasn't a national account, but it was an account that they had, and it was a ton of locations in your area. It was going to be some good guaranteed work for you, Chris, and then they pulled the rug right out from underneath you. Okay, so a couple of things we want to talk about with regards to franchising fees, like, because I kind of want to talk about, is there any upside to the franchise? And like I said, in the instance of opening a restaurant, obviously you have that notoriety there. But with regards to parking lot striping, like, how many parking lot striping companies can you name off the top of your head? Chris, you could probably name more than anybody else, because you live and breathe this. But you know what I mean?
I could name several franchise models. They're starting to become more prevalent as striping grows into like the next big thing. Striping franchises are starting to pop up everywhere. I have people that call me about striping franchises a couple times a week. And we have a conversation. Matter of fact, today, I just talked to somebody today about franchising. He was asking me if he should do it and what I thought about it, and I told him that he could get the training that we offer for a fraction of the price and then not have to pay royalty fees every single job that he does. And so
Right. Just a couple of the added benefits. I just want to, okay. So one of the funny things about the franchise is their franchise fee. Okay. So that's right off the gate. And this is like their estimated price for how much it's going to, how much you're going to need in order to start the business. And just one in particular, the estimated range for what it could cost to start your business is between $120,000 and 170, almost 180 grand. Between 120 and 180 grand. Chris, how much did it cost to start your parking lot striping business?
It cost $2,000. It cost $2,000 for me to start my striping business, because I was able to utilize my credit union and then got a machine for 25% down. I was able to get a machine for 25% down to find out if this was even something that was going to work. And the beautiful thing about it is, if it doesn't work and you do decide to quit striping 2 years later because it wasn't what you thought it would be, guess what? You're not trying to figure out how to sell a $200,000 company before it's ever even got $200,000 in gross revenue. I mean, you think about that for a second. To go $200K into the hole before ever even acquiring a customer. I mean, these people literally take advantage of somebody's lack of knowledge. And what happens is they're, like you said, locked in for the rest of their life, paying franchise fees, royalty fees in exchange for some work. Even if you did, all right, let's just say hypothetically, I signed up for that company's franchise model. That company doesn't have $200,000 worth of work to give me in my state. Like, you think about that for a second. You pay $200,000 to enter into this business model when we can teach you how to do it for a fraction of the price. What? The How to Stripe course, the marketing pack, and the legal pack are all the necessary tools that you will need as far as education is concerned. You can have access to that training for what? $599, $499, something like that. And then we do discounts all the time. When you have access to high level training that teaches you how to do new layouts, the difference between paint, machines, where it teaches you how to price jobs, the marketing aspect. I mean, we teach you every aspect of how to run the business, and you get to do it yourself. You don't have to pay ongoing continuous fees. And it's something that is yours. You own it. You have total control, and other people don't get to tell you what you're going to do.
I love it. Absolutely. So we just had to come on here because a lot of people have been asking about, franchises and all this other kind of stuff. And we had, like I said, no vendetta before, but now it kind of opened up our eyes. The more people that are kind of inquiring about it, it's like, okay, well, let's lay out all the facts here. A, they're trying to hold you hostage. That's never a good sign for, a venture that you want to get into. B, the amount of startup capital that you need to even get going with something like this before you've even made a profit is like the cost of a house. You could literally have a rental property for the same amount of money, as well as, when their biggest selling point is that their team or, we have good marketing assets that we can help you with or whatever the case may be. If they're promising you all this work that they have, it just lends itself to you being taken advantage of. And that's never a good situation. Right, Chris? Anything else we want to add onto like, the bad stuff about franchises, I guess?
Yeah, I would love to talk about the franchise fee.
Yep.
I like to talk about three things: the franchise fee, the royalty fees and ongoing fees, and the total startup cost. So first, let's talk about the franchise fee. What they do is they charge you a franchise fee to give you access to training and operations. Okay. Now, with a franchise fee, that's usually like $5,000 or something like that. I mean, you're paying $5,000 to have access to training and a community of people, i.e., the franchise. Okay. In the How to Stripe course, it is it's like a fraction of that. And you also get access to a private community where you can learn from 200 other business owners of their marketing efforts, what they're doing, what's working, what's not working. So you have access to a private community and training all in one thing, all in one package, all in one program. That's going to help you. So a franchising fee to pay you for that you pay for training just to have access to that area. So what they do is wherever your target demographic is, wherever it is that you're living, let's say that you're living in North Dakota and there's not a franchise operating partner in North Dakota. What they do is they charge you a territory fee. And that is how much it's going to cost you to operate with their name in whatever region that you're living in. That's included in that franchise fee. So you're going to pay, if you're thinking about starting a franchise, I want you to think about this for a second. Go on this journey with me. Let's walk down this path. You're going to pay another service-based company that's out of state thousands and thousands of dollars to put their name on your trailer, their name on your truck, their name on your business cards, their name on your flyers. You're going to pay someone else to put their name on your stuff. And when you think about that, and not only are you going to pay them to have access to a territory or whatever state you're living in, you're also going to pay them royalties. Okay, so the next thing that I want to talk about is not only the franchise fee, but the royalty fees as well. So in addition to franchise fees, that is your fee to have access to the training and the operations, which if you get How to Stripe, or if you sign up for some in-person training, like we've already told you, you can have access to all those things at a fraction of the cost. And we won't own any part of your business. And you can have a legacy to pass on to your children. But in addition to franchise fees, What franchises also do is require you to pay a certain percentage of your gross sales as a monthly royalty. Not only are you paying this company to have access to basically market their name and build their brand, but you're also going to have to pay 10% of your gross sales as a monthly royalty. There's also marketing fees that are associated. Some are even 3% and some are 1% national marketing fees. You're looking at 11% so far. Okay. Now, if you have a franchisee that has access to a national account, some franchisees even charge a 15% royalty fee on top of that 10% royalty fee. So, for example, this franchisee has access to a national account, say Long John Silver's or McDonald's or whatever the case may be, and they give you X amount of properties in your state. Not only are you going to be required to pay that 10% franchise fee, that royalty fee, but also you're going to have to pay an additional 15% for a national account fee. That means that you're already 15% digging into your gross revenue before you ever even generate a profit. So let's say, for example, that you start a franchisee, you invest the $200K. Let's say your first year you do $100,000. Well, if you do over $100K, you're going to be required to pay 24% in taxes. When you have to pay 24% in taxes on top of 25% for your monthly royalty, as well as a royalty given from a national account. So you're at what? You're at 25% for the royalty fees. You're at 24% for the taxes. That's 49% that is gone from your pocket before you ever even generate a profit. So that means that your top line is already 50% gone. And with striping, it's usually, I think my friend Matt and I were calculating it, it's like a 10 to 15% for you, like your supply costs. There's like a 70 to 80% margins in striping. So if you add, let's just say to be conservative, you add 10% from your gross revenue and supply cost. That means your 60%, if you did 100K, is out of the window. That means you have a remaining 40% from that six figures to pay employees, to scale your business, to pay yourself. Like, you think about that for a second. And instead of joining these big companies to have access to all these accounts, which it sounds great, but at the end of the year, you know, if you do 100K in revenue, you might be walking away with what? If we did the math, that's like $30,000. You might as well go get a job stocking shelves or something. And you don't have to do all that running your own business and dealing with all the headaches. And that's how they lock you in as far as the royalty fees are concerned.
Exactly. Somebody commented on here and said, please stop plugging the business. Just discuss the facts. That's exactly what we're doing, is discussing why you should not start a franchise. And that's why we offer up training that's affordable and accessible to everybody. So if you guys would like to start a parking lot striping business, you don't have to pay $120,000. Just check out the How to Stripe course. Check out some in-person training with Chris if you want to go a little bit deeper. If you want to see the ins and outs of, you know, every single job and push the machine around, mix the paint, do the whole deal. Yeah, we have that linked in the comment section description as well. You don't need to sign over your business and everything that you build for the lifetime of it. And that's why we wanted to hop on here and just kind of discuss that. Don't get me wrong, I'm on your side. I got huddled by a franchise last year. So the thing is if anybody's pigeonholing you and saying, we will give you all this work if you just do X, Y, and Z, it's like that's never really a good deal. You really want to be standing on your own 2 feet first and foremost. Explains 3,200 fast food and Dollar General stores closing in U.S., 85% California alone. Yeah, maybe so. I don't know. The thing about those big stores is like if you see the name Dollar General, it's like, yeah, we'll go to a Dollar General because we know it. You know what I mean? Or like a Walmart or a whatever the case may be, Whole Foods, whatever it is. But It's just a little bit different when it comes to service industry stuff. So we're here to tell you guys you don't need to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars in order to get started. You don't need to sign over royalty fees. You don't need to sign over percentages of your income. You don't need to do any of that stuff. We, obviously have all the training here on YouTube. We do in-person training. We have Chris, for how to stripe course. So we have it all for you guys. Right, Chris?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you're right about that. As a matter of fact, I was speaking to somebody this morning about joining a particular franchise, and they were asking me and telling me about, asking me if they should do it and telling me about the initial startup cost and what it would cost. I mean, just under 200,000 to start a business is it's absolutely a service-based business at that. It's absolutely absurd. And what happened is he was telling me that you had to purchase the equipment through them. You had to purchase the branding through them. You had to purchase the trailer, the truck, you have to purchase everything through them. And he was telling me that he was going to start off with 3 Graco 3900s. It's like, why would anybody need to start off with 3 3900s and then spend $40,000 in equipment whenever there's no skill at all whatsoever in customer acquisition? It doesn't make sense to me, because you can go out and do it on your own. And I told that guy on the phone, I was like, why would you need to spend close to $200,000 whenever I could teach you how to do it for a fraction of the price and I won't own your company?
Exactly. Okay, sweet. So, Chris, anything else we want to cover with regards to this topic before we kind of wrap it up? I want to say one other thing. Another thing is surrounding yourself with people that are successful in your industry. That's another thing that guys can do without having to join a franchise, right? That's something that we've kind of established with the Discord community. You've built that Discord community. It's full of people that are active in there. If you guys are interested in that, definitely reach out to Chris and see about getting in there. But there's everything that you need is available for you. You don't need to rely on a franchise in order to make it happen. Wouldn't you say so, Chris?
Yeah, yes, sir, 100%. I mean, we're getting testimonials from guys that purchased How to Stripe. I mean, we were on the phone. Justin and I were on the phone. We were talking to somebody who was thinking about purchasing How to Stripe whenever we first released it. Whenever we first released How to Stripe, it was so cheap. I didn't even want to sell it for that cheap, but it was so cheap. But we wanted to be able to give people access to a quality product that was going to deliver high quality results. And when we talked to this specific person, they were like, I was thinking about buying How to Stripe back in February and I just didn't decide to do it. And then I told him, well, now the prices went up. It's more valuable now. I mean, guys, I'm getting text messages from guys who purchased How to Stripe, who purchased the marketing pack, who didn't sign up with a franchise, and they're landing jobs so big that they're walking into their 9-to-5 job and they're quitting. I just got a message from a guy probably 3 days ago. He got How to Stripe and the marketing pack. And I don't think you can see that, but he says he's going to do $150,000 in revenue this year. And he started in 2024, just from the way that we teach from the marketing in How to Stripe. I mean, if you had access to high level information and high level training that could help you make $150K and it only cost you $399 and you never have to pay another fee ever again, is that not worth it? Or is it worth it to spend $200K on a business and you don't even know if you're going to generate that year? You're going to spend $200K and you don't even know if you're going to generate $200K in top line revenue that year. But we have a proven model that allows you to keep control of your business, build something with your brand and reputation and your name on it, gives you access to high-level training, gives you a proven strategy of customer acquisition several different ways. And what it does is it takes the power from these bigger companies and puts it back into your hand. And now it just makes me believe in How to Stripe even more, since I'm getting so many testimonials of guys doing big numbers with it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why we put it together, to help as many people as possible get going and get started, and not having to be relying on somebody else for your success, kind of being able to take your own success into your own hands. So anyway, if you guys want to check out, like I said, we got the How to Stripe course right here, which will be the first link. Second link in the comment section description. First link will be to in-person training with Chris. And if you guys need help, managing your business, you can obviously send estimates, invoices, and collect payments all for free using Quote IQ, which will be linked down below as well. Anything else you want to say, Chris, on this one?
That's, just the fact that we can give you access to training that can change your financial life, and you'll never have to pay up to 25% in royalty fees. I mean, you'll never, you think about that. You make 200 grand. Let's say you 300 grand, $1 million, whatever the case may be. Let's just say you do $1 million. Let's just say you do $1 million in revenue by year 5. That means that you're going to have to take $250,000 of that revenue and give it back to a franchise model. And if they wanted to, let's just say you and the franchise holder, or you and the person who you're franchised through, get into a disagreement about something, they can withhold work from you. And yeah, you still have access to their branding, but they can withhold work from you. So you imagine that you're locked into this contractual agreement. These people can withhold work from you if you get on their bad side, and then you're still obligated to pay them. What if you, as a service provider, land a national account while you're operating for them as a franchise? Like, you think about that. Like, I know guys that are doing Amazons, and what if they signed up for a franchise model and then been locked in to build another person's brand and reputation? But what if you land a national contract in the future? You're going to have to pay royalties on that. And that's why within How to Stripe, we teach you how to get customers, marketing efforts. We're doing things in the How to Stripe marketing pack that other companies are not even doing. And it really is changing the game for people that are trying to quit their full-time jobs and go out and do something on their own.
Exactly. Okay, sweet. Chris, thanks for coming on, man. We're gonna wrap from here. And actually, we have one question. Look, Aeon, hopefully I said that right, said, what's the best machine to start with price-wise?
The best machine to start with price-wise is probably going to be a New Stripe 4250. What I would do if I were you, I would go to newstripe.com. One of the great things about this industry is that we are partnering up with other companies. If you guys go to newstripe.com and you reach out to the company New Stripe that makes parking lot striping machines, use promo code Striping Guide 2024, and that promo code is going to get you 10% off a New Stripe striping machine. So if you want equipment and get 10% off immediately, just use Striping Guide 2024. We don't get a commission for that. It's just you'll have that.
Absolutely. Okay, well, sweet. Chris, thanks so much for coming on. Every guest that comes on has to pick the word of the day. What would you like the word of the day to be?
Don't franchise.
Don't franchise. If you guys made this far in the video, comment down below, don't franchise. We'll hashtag you a real one. My name is Justin. This is Forever Self-Employed. Until next time, I'll start and get that money, baby. Peace.